Okay, everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm going to give you my reaction to Train Sim 5 coming out. And the excitement that I have or may not have, and my thoughts about it as an American, as someone who grew up in the U.S. and has a different perspective, obviously, of what trains are all about than maybe many of the European might have. So let's get into it. I want to talk about several things. My first initial reaction to Train Sim World 5 when I saw what was coming, the changes in, it's hard to talk and drive a train at the same time. This thing is just slowing down with the dynamic brake as I go downhill. Let it catch up speed. I'm in Cahoon Pass. I forgot what town I'm in and where I'm headed, to be honest with you. I got so into wanting to put out this video. But my first reaction to the announcement of Train Sim 5 was really humdrum. It didn't bring me a lot of excitement at all, to be honest with you. So I'm looking forward to it because it has some features that I've wanted for a long time. But these aren't like exciting features. These are features I expected forever. And I'll get into that in a minute. So I just want to give you my first reaction to Train Sim 5. It doesn't bring me any joy or excitement that it's coming. But I am happy for it to come. And I went ahead and I bought the standard edition. So the free edition, I think I would have been better served with the free edition because it would have gave me the features that I'm looking for or wanting, but I'm very confused about the free edition. Really am. That said the free edition comes with core features with limitations. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. So for me, I wasn't sure I wanted to risk buying a free edition and not getting all of the features of the core of Train Sim 5. I mean, because why would I do that? Because I'm not interested. I got so many routes now. I love the German routes, but I hardly play them. I wish I played them more. I do play them. I was playing one of the German routes just a week or so ago, and I really do like them. I like most of the you Brits that you like the U.S. stuff, but you probably don't play them much. And there's nothing against the British rail or any of the UK routes. I just never play them, and there's things about them that are interesting to me with the British routes. But my main interest as an American is for freight and for the U.S. style of routes. So I'm highly interested in what's coming out. So I think the biggest selling point for the Train Sim 5 was that the British route that's coming out. That's fantastic and brings a lot of excitement for those that are looking forward to routes over there. But for a U.S. citizen, I wanted to see what was coming for the U.S. And we got San Bernardino. And San Bernardino, I love any U.S. route I can get my hands on. So I decided to go ahead and get the standard edition, so I get this route. But it's very costly because in U.S. dollars, I'm spending $45 for a route. That maybe I should have just got the free edition and waited till the route went on sale and picked it up for less, because I'm not interested in the other two routes. I'm just not interested in the other two routes, in the British route and the German route. And I'm a little excited about the German route because it's going to be a fantastic route, and I know I'll enjoy playing it, and I know it's going to be top notch. I mean, I agree with a lot of the people on the forums that the best routes are the German routes. I mean, as far as attention to detail and scenery and equipment, and they're just fantastic. And so I thought, okay, well, I don't mind picking up that German route. And I don't even know the name of it right off the top of my head. Everybody else who says it kind of butchers it because it's the German pronunciations. But nevertheless, I think what's getting to me as an American is the complete lack of Dovetail Games understanding of the American psyche for trains. It's completely different here. Unless we grew up, I grew up outside of New York City, so I'm familiar with passenger trains, but even growing up outside of New York City, my exposure to trains was mostly freight trains, unless I was in the city itself. Now, if I had grown up on Long Island, then Long Island Railroad would have been part of my years of early life. But if you're talking to the average American, which doesn't live deep in the city, America is huge. I think that's probably one of the first reactions from Europeans as they come to visit our country, the great country, United States of America. It is enormous. Driving from state to state and across country it takes from one coast to another would take a week or so just driving across. It is enormous. So it's a huge country, and there's a lot of population that is completely familiar with freight. Freight, is a logistics organization in the United States that move goods from across the country. And so we're looking for miles, we're looking for acreage, we're looking for freight, and we're looking for a whole slew of road names, because as we move our freight across country, all the different road names get all intermingled on the freight cars, and nobody cares anymore. But what we see in Dovetail Games is if you get a mixed manifest of freight, it's all still kind of the same road name. And there's probably, dealing with license agreements and stuff. One of the things I wish that we could do, maybe I'm an idiot and we can do it now, is with the editor, not the scenario editor, but I'm sorry, I forgot what you call it, but where you can go in and paint your own cars and do your own schemes. But one of the things I wish we can do with that was to pull in any particular road name off of the set that we have and just weather it, so I don't have to start from scratch painting on and putting decals of road names, which I don't have, but if you have the license for BNSF and you have a freight car with that on it, and why can't we just pull that into the paint shop and go ahead and weather it, and so we can have a whole slew of different least weather cars of that, or even some that are faded away and some other road names if we wish to put it on there. So some of my thoughts. So those things are desires, but I'm trying to speak now to what does Train Sim World 5 have for me that is getting me excited. Well, I didn't get excited. I was hoping for something other than another desert environment, and I'm thinking that the reason why we have the San Bernardino is because the work was already done for the Antelope and the Calhoun Pass to get the license agreements and kind of get the topography and and so it's just a matter of laying out the additional additional road from Los Angeles to San Bernardino, and you can pretty much, slap on the same road, same name, same freight, same passenger, with a few little twists to it, but the licenses, the sounds, and all that stuff. And I don't blame him for that, and it's going to be a nice addition. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. That is the thing I'm looking forward to. I don't know that I'll even be playing the new British route, even though I paid for it. I certainly will be fooling around with the German route at some point. But my excitement as being over here in the West, in the U.S., is to look for some new environment other than desert environment over here in the United States, or even in North America. I tell you what would excite me if you would ask me what would you want in North America, or the United States. Well, actually, for me, I would love to see. It's not even the United States. I would love to see the Canadian Rockies. They have this in Train Simulator. I can't remember if Dovetail put it out or if it was an add-on that I purchased from a third party. But the Canadian Rockies, wow! And you could, instead of 50 miles, you get 150 miles of the Canadian Rockies, which is used both for passenger and for freight. What? That would I think that would excite a lot of people. Not just Americans, but the beauty there. That's probably one of the most beautiful routes that I can dream of as far as scenery goes. Outside of rural scenery, urban scenery. Outside of urban scenery, which has its own flavor and likes to it, but to have country and mountains and just the sheer beauty of the world. The Canadian Rockies is very well known for its passenger services, and the beauty and the dome cars, and also for freight and the difficulties for freight moving through those mountains. That would be something that I would stand up and jump and holler for a little bit if they came out with that. If Dovetail doesn't want to do it, yet a third party does it, that would be fantastic. That would make me excited. So, basically, San Bernardino, it is going to add the option that I am looking forward to, from doing Cajon Pass to San Bernardino and hopping on and going to the Los Angeles and that would add on a lot of miles, with the train hopping feature. Yet I'm not quite sure until it comes out on the 17th and the days following that I start to fool with the train hopping feature, whether or not it's going to be something that that excites me. Because right now I don't think it will. It's not like I'm going to be driving the train I'm in now, come to Los Angeles, and then continue on with the quick click of some buttons with the same train. I'm going to have to hop onto something else. That is my thought. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that'd be the case. I mean, I do that now. I grew up out of New York City in New Jersey, so I know it's one of the more criticized routes. I do like that Jersey route, the Trenton route. I drive from Trenton to Penn Station in New York City quite often with that route. And what I do now is when I get to Penn Station, I exit out to the menu and then go right back into Penn Station with the Long Island Railroad and continue on. And I have to take a different passenger train to continue on, but I'm already doing that train hopping now, and it sounds like that all they're going to do is allow me to do that without having to go to the menu. But I still think I'm going to have to go somewhere, either walk out and jump into a interaction thing, the interaction menu, while you're in the station, and then choose where you're going next. That's going to be a nice, slick way of doing it. So I'm going to probably like that. It's going to be slicker than going out and back in again, but it's kind of just a slick way of doing what we can do now. But I can't wait to try it out and test it out. So all that said, I mean that's why my reaction to it is kind of, I'm looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward for the game to improve and the game features to improve. So, and I certainly will not shy away from the San Bernardino route. I'm going to be definitely into that as well. I'd rather it be somewhere else than another desert run, but it is what it is, and I may end up loving it, and I may end up loving being able to hop in the Los Angeles station from one to the other. So we'll see. We'll have to see on that. But I think I would be more excited. I know in the roadmap there's going to be availability. You could get, I think, Japan. Besides some of the other countries like Wales and I forgot where else up in Europe. That's to me some of the most exciting things, getting away from British, German, and U.S. stuff and offering some other things. So Japan's coming up. It would have been. I almost think I would have been more excited if instead of having San Bernardino, they threw in Japan. I have something completely different. But I don't know. I still would have felt, I guess, disappointed not to get a U.S. route, but or a North American route. Because, like I said, I would just be delighted if it was a Canadian route. I love the Canadian route with the one and only. I think it's Oakville up there. Along the border of U.S. and Canada, to run the Canadian trains, the road name. So, let's talk a little bit about how I feel about the new features in the core. First off, they have the guard. I think they call it the guard feature, where you can play conductor instead of only engineer. I think that's fabulous. That's pretty cool. But it's not something that makes me jump up and down with great joy. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. But being a freight guy, it's hardly something that I'm even thinking about. But for the rest of you, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I really don't have any interest in it. By the way, I do want to talk a minute about the main difference where I think the Dovetail games is so European minded, they're so British minded in what a train simulator should be. It's so focused on passengers. I mean, they do have European freight, but it's so focused on passengers that everything about what their discussions is all passenger related, whether it's with the conductor or how many we got to have this new route, how many stations you're going to be stopping out, and how many different types of wagons styles of wagons you can get or locos you can get, and where from the U.S. perspective, being a freight guy, I'm more interested in how many sidings going into industry will there be. Not that I could just run 50, 60, or even 150 miles down a main line to deliver a commodity from one place to another, but if I chose to do mixed freight and stop off at industries on the way, then that would be phenomenal. If you have industries going on the way, some sidings that branch off, you have to go over and deliver a few cars and change out some tankers or change out some box cars to deliver to a particular industry and then go on your way. That whole topic is almost it's not even thought of, not even understood that kind of thing goes on. They're so focused on passenger stations that nobody even thinks about building a route that has some sidings going off to an industry here or there, and the amount of interaction and actions that have to take place, because dropping a car off and picking a car up is not as simple as it sounds. You have to think ahead, whether you have a trailing or a facing spur. How are you going to go deliver this car? Are you going to have to? Can you deliver it on the way, or do you have to wait for the return to deliver it? I mean, all these thoughts go in. And if you have a car that's being dropped off, that's simple enough maybe, but do you have to pick up a car? Is there a car in the way? It is a puzzle, and it's a wonderful puzzle that keeps you entertained, keeps you thinking, and it's not something that I think Dovetail Games even has a clue. I don't even think it ever enters their mind that this even exists as part of train play. It's just delivering commodity from one destination to a far off destination. And then so whenever I hear them talk about shunting, in the U.S. we call it switching. It's always shunting around in the yard. It's never so much as stopping off and delivering cars. How do you do that when there's cars in the way? There's a lot of strategy there, and it's not even thought about in my mind. And you hear these discussions year after year of the new routes coming out, and you'll never hear anything said about industries and sidings and the kind of activities that can be done. I think way back, it could be 10 years ago, with Train Simulator, they actually had they had some, I think, opportunities where a guy, an AI guy would come out and talk to the engineer and say, "Hey, I want you to take this car over here and put it there." That's long gone. So the next thing about the core feature I want to talk about, getting away from my little side rant there, is the instant transport. Oh, that's a nice little tweak, So you come to a station, get off, and you can instantly go somewhere else on that route. That's kind of neat, I don't think it's something that gets me jumping up and down. Very good, thanks. I'm glad you did that. Anything to make the gameplay a little bit more fantastic, great. I'm looking forward to, but it's not a big deal. And I don't know how else to say it. Not something that gets my heart pumping and say, hey, I can't wait for that. Like I would even with route hopping. But route hopping is, we already talked about it. I think it's just a slicker way of what we already do by going out the exit. Like when I go in Penn Station, exit out, get back into Penn Station on a different route that terminates at the same station. So this route hopping, obviously, can only be done when you have different routes terminating at the same station. And I don't know how many routes that we have in Train Sim World that actually do that. I mean, because the Harlem route doesn't terminate in Penn Station; it terminates in Grand Central. So it completely, and they're not that far off. And the Trenton route and Penn Station and the Boston route, there's no connectivity there. So it's limited in its use, but it's good. I'm glad. It's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there's a couple of items coming up. Route hopping, I think, was one of the big ones that I'm looking forward to. It's just a slicker way of doing it. But the other item really baffles me, and that is the map update. What baffles me is, why did it take so long? And what I never forget, I was so excited when I was a long time Railworks guy, and every year it was no different. Every single year they had an update I don't remember that we had to pay for them every year, but every year we got a new update. Every few years, I think we had to buy new. But eventually, RealWorks went into Train Simulator, and I love Train Simulator. But when I saw Train SimWorld, how graphically wonderful and advanced it was over Train Simulator, I couldn't wait to jump into it. And in particular, I love the user interface in Train SimWorld over the user interface with Train Simulator. Particularly where you can get out, walk around, and uncouple and couple cars. The user interface for coupling and uncoupling is fabulous, and I just very do enjoy the user interface of Train SimWorld better than any other train simulator out there. Now, a lot of people say, well, gee, why don't you do Run 8? Well, Run 8 is very nice in a lot of ways, but I hate the user interface. Besides the fact it's like 15 years behind the times in graphics, but gameplay is all the difference. So I'm not going to criticize that. But I remember when I first got Train SimWorld, with all the excitement to have a nice user interface, trains were fabulous. A mystery happened. When I wanted to look at the map, I scratched my head and said, what is wrong here? Why is this map, completely void of any information? Because trains, they're both Dovetail games. I never could understand why they have a new game that doesn't have a map that's anywhere near what Train Simulator had. It's been baffling me since the onset of Train SimWorld. So to have it now is not a thing of excitement. It's a thing of, it's about time. Holy smokes! This even should be part of a paid thing, and I guess technically it's not, because you get a free version of it. But holy smokes! Don't be taking credit and patting yourself on the back for something that should have came out when Train SimWorld originally came out. I mean, from the get-go, the map should have been what I hope it's going to be, because I hadn't seen it yet. You got to wait to the 17th, 18th when I look at it for the first time. But from the videos, the previews we've watched, I'm thinking the map is going to be, good. I've been waiting for them to update the map. It certainly didn't need to be done during a yearly, new game release. It should have been done as soon as they could, anytime during the year when they got to it. But oh my gosh, the map! I am excited about the map, but not because this is a great thing that they did. It's like, it's about time the map makes sense. Like every other game that's a railroad game has a map that shows you locations. How do you work a yard? This really baffled me. How do you work a yard and you don't know the track numbers? It just baffled me. Even the passenger lines, and you don't know what rail you're going down. So it's going to help a lot with free roam. I got to tell you that. So setting up routes in free roam are going to be a lot better now with a map that tells you the track name and location and what town you're in. So yeah, fantastic. I am excited about that. So yes, I'm not sure I needed to buy the standard edition, but I would have wanted to get the San Bernardino, and if I consider the price I paid for it, well, I would have wanted the German route too. So maybe you could say that $22 for each of those gives you the 44. And to me, $20 is reasonable for a route. But wouldn't have been my top choice, but Train SimWorld 5. I can't wait to give you another video after my reaction after using it. And normally I find myself very delighted in these products that Dovetails putting out after I get a chance to play with them a little bit and see how great they were. I was a little skeptical last year about free roam, but free roam ended up being way better than I thought it would be. It is fantastic. It does have problems, and they don't even talk. They never even mentioned it in Train Sim 5. I mean, I thought well, at least they would say, hey, by the way, free roam is still going to be working in Train Sim 5. I mean, of course, I'm sure, of course it would be, but you're telling us about what's new. I mean, just say some of the obvious things so we're not thinking, hey, is it is that going to be a problem, or are we going to get surprised and find out, oh, we lost free roam? You know, hopefully we didn't lose anything, but you guys are great. Thanks so much for listening to my little rant and my perspective of whether or not I'm excited about Train Sim 5. I'm Train Sim World 5. I'm not even going to comment about, every year coming out with a new game. Well, maybe I'm commenting about it now. I don't care. This has been going on since RealWorks. Every single year in September, we got a new something. Because I really don't know whether or not I could have got the free version and it been just fine. I guess I could have tested it out first before I went and bought the standard. I'm glad I got the standard. I can get right into it and find out how this train hopping stuff works. So, any other thoughts I got before I leave you all? Yeah, here we are in the desert, and I guess in the desert we'll stay. So, you guys do good. Keep riding the rails, and we'll catch you next time.